Hi, everybody. There we go. Billy, I see you hopped on just in time. How are you today? Today was a beautiful day today, so I hope you all had a chance to enjoy it. This meeting is actually concerning the proposed project at 3834 Pinhook Road. But the first 10 minutes is going to be a discussion with NDOT about that light at Mount View and Hamilton Church. Somehow or another, we keep being told that we're going to get it. That things are in motion. Stuff is starting to be purchased so that we can start everything, but then nothing. And I drove out there the other day and it doesn't even look like they have overturned a leaf. So we have somebody on board. Is that you, Mr. Waits, that's going to talk about that?
No, ma'am. I'm here for the Century Community Pinhook project.
Okay, because I've got project to be discussed. I've got Mr. Smith and Mr. Easter.
Councilmember,
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can, yay.
Hey, this Brad Freeze from NDOT calling in to talk about that.
So everybody, we are going to take 10 minutes and turn our attention to Brad, to Mr. Freeze.
Right.
And he's going to tell us all about our light. And I want to welcome everybody that I didn't have a chance to say hi to. And I hope you all are well and staying safe. Okay, Brad, take it over.
Right. So we have the final designs. We have the poles. We should be receiving those signal poles any day now. And we've already given the notice to proceed for utility work to begin. You haven't seen any dirt turned or anything just yet, but hopefully in the next 2 months, you will actually see that. So we are expecting, we're going to be retaining a contractor this month. So March is what we're targeting for retaining our contractor. So once that happens, we're looking at about an 8 to 12 month delivery as far as construction from begin to end. Hopefully it will likely be shorter than that. And yes, there are turn lanes. I saw that question in there. There are turn lanes on all approaches on the signal. So yeah, it's looking very positive as far as that happening very soon, based on what I'm hearing as far as the delivery of the signal, the strain poles for the signal, and notice to proceed being granted for the utility work to begin.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is in about a month, we will actually be able to ride by there and see something being done so people will know?
Yes, within the next 2 months, you should see work actually occurring out there on that intersection.
Okay, so if in 2 months we don't see that, we can all show up at the office with signs and stuff.
Come on down.
Okay, all right.
Come on down.
I am going to ask if anybody new is on here. We have been asking for that stop sign. I'm going to say that stoplight for about 3 years now.
Right.
So please, anybody that you know that is not on here, please talk to them about it. Something else I want to share with you, the idea for the light came from one of the meetings that we had when they said that there was a need. So this came from the community, because I have heard talk where there's some people saying, oh no, when they put that in, it's going to be a mess because the traffic is going to go down to one lane, or it's going to cause a traffic problem. And there's enough problems. There are enough problems there already, and all those type of things. So I will say to you at the beginning, when this starts, it most likely will be, because they're going to have to hold up some traffic in order to put some things in place. But as you talk to your neighbors and other members that have to go through there, or other community members, please let them know what's happening. This is something that the community did want. And while it may be bothersome at the very beginning, hopefully it will be something that will help you in the long run. Now, there are going to be turning lanes, and then the light is the street, because at one time they were talking about widening the street. Is that as well going to be?
Right now, there are no plans on here for roadway lighting. I don't see that here on the estimate.
Okay,
But I can share with you the layout and you can share that with everybody to just to show
Please.
what our final design is so they can actually see that and what it's going to look like. I will say, timing will be, we'll have preliminary timing programmed in there based on our traffic turning movement counts. However, we will come back and retime too. So based on actual operations, there'll be tweaking that happens, but I don't foresee it being a major traffic generator as far as congestion in there. I see it being a big help to the area based on the Warren analysis that we did on this signal. So it should work very well. In addition to that, it will have detection. So for example, if you're coming from one of the other approaches and you drive over, there'll be loop detection embedded in pavement, so it will be actuated, fully actuated, in order to speed the cycle up or shift the cycle if you're not being called in there. So that is so you don't have people skipped or missed, as far as in the cycle length of the signal.
okay, and I just wanted to say, when I was talking about, people were talking about it would be a problem there. I'm not talking about after it's finished, because that should be a big help. But whenever you're putting anything up, traffic is going to be slowed because they're building and doing things. So right there might be the headache. So that's what I want people to share with the community members. So when people are complaining about that, they know what's going on and that it won't be forever.
Yes.
All right. Any more quick questions on that right now? Okay. Brad, I want to thank you for giving us an update on that. And I'm telling you, we're going to be up there on the plaza in the grass with signs up in 2 months if we don't see something.
Okay. So,
all right. Thank you so very much.
And I'll share with you these plans so you can send to people so you can see sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. So you can see the layout.
Great. If you'll send those to Rosie and she will email it to everybody that is in my database.
I will do that.
Thank you, sir. You have a great evening.
Thank you. So I just got a question. When is the work gonna start? So we're anticipating within the next 2 months. Yeah. And that's why I was saying, if in 2 months we don't see anything, we might have to show up on the plaza with signs, because we've been told that within the first 2 months. Okay. All right. Thank you so very much, Brad, for coming and sharing that with us. You're welcome.
Now, thank you. Now I am going to turn it over so that the 3834 Pinhook Road discussion can start. It will be like we always do. You'll have the presentation first, and you'll have a chance to ask questions and give your input and make comments on it. All right, I'm turning that over now. And Mr. Waits, I don't know if that's you, if that's Mr. Smith or Mr. Easter, but whoever it is, if you will assign one person at least to look in the comment area so that they can, those questions can also be addressed, because we can't always see when people have their hands raised.
Yes, ma'am. This is Jay Easter with Reagan Smith.
Okay.
I was trying to get my video turned on, but I don't seem to be able to. But Rosie has made me co-host.
Yes.
Mr. Allen is going to monitor the chat and respond for me while I'm presenting, because I don't think I can keep up with both of them at the same time. Let's see. Okay, there's my video. Let me adjust the camera. It's great to see everybody. Thank you, Councilmember Lee, for letting us come and present to your community. I have the full Century development team along with me to help address any questions that you may have or any of the neighbors may have. We have made some adjustments to the proposals since it has been submitted to staff, and then we deferred. We since then have met with the community one community group. We met with you and we made some adjustments, and that is what we will be presenting tonight to get your feedback before we resubmit it to staff. If you give me 1 second, I'm going to share my screen so I can bring everything up. Reactions, participants. Where is I'm having a little trouble finding the share the screen button, so y'all just give me 1 second.
On mine, it's green at the bottom. I don't know if that means the same as yours, but I have to put my arrow down there for it to show up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. That's exactly what I had to do. Okay, has my screen come up? You may be seeing my profile now because I need to stare at the other monitor. This is
The development plans are up there.
Thank you. Yeah, all right. Thank you.
We can see it.
Okay, this is our site as it sits currently. It is a 10.19 acre site that is currently zoned AR. There was a previous development group that came in and cleared the site in development preparation. That was not our group. That development group fell through, and the site has been sitting in its existing condition now for quite a long period of time. So Century Homes has since purchased the site and is going to make it much better and hopefully improve what would be, I would consider, an eyesore in the community, since it has been sitting this way for such a long time. I've got some existing site photos that you can see how the site stands right now. It's been completely cleared. There's gravel and brush, and there's the previous developers left material on the site that has just been sitting there, and nothing has been going on the property since that group fell through. I think since Century bought it, they put up a gate or a chain so people could not get into the site because previously I think some people were getting into the site and might have been doing some not so desirable things. We also toured some of the existing neighborhoods in the community around the site to see what the community looked like, and I hopes to make sure that we created a very compatible development for the area and improve the area. This is our site plan for the site. Again, we have 10.19 acres. It's currently zoned AR2. The neighborhood policy for this piece of property is T3 neighborhood evolving, which allows for development and allows for the neighborhood to evolve and become better. Currently, we are seeking SP zoning to allow for the development of 39 homes on this site. The average lot width and size for the project is 5,000 square feet. We have lots within the project that range from 5,000 square feet to 10,000 square feet. We also have over 2.99 acres of open space. Now that is also including some of the stormwater areas, but we do have a large formal green space within the neighborhood for the community to enjoy. We are proposing a dog park within the neighborhood that would be located right here. You would have your access for the project would come off of Pinhook. There is a bend and a jog in the road that we worked out with Nashville Department of Transportation to try to promote some traffic calming within the neighborhood and for it not to just be a straight shot. We will also be proposing and working with them to see if we can make some of these intersections three-way or four-way stops so that it is not just a straight cut through. The homes will all be fronting our streets. They will be front-loaded garages for these houses. We do have 2 homes backing up to the formal green space that will be buffered with an evergreen buffer here, and staff has placed a condition on those 2 homes that they have extra architectural detail on the back of those homes because they are backing up to the open space. Staff has also placed a condition on lot 1 that it have extra architectural detail on the side facing pinhook as you're driving into the neighborhood. We have agreed to that staff condition. We've agreed to every staff condition that the Metro staff, planning staff has placed onto the neighborhood. And before we deferred in order to meet with the community and be a part of this neighborhood meeting, staff had recommended approval for this neighborhood. Let's see. We do have buffers along the neighborhood. It is along the perimeter of the neighborhood. I believe that it is a 20-foot buffer along the northern perimeter and a 10-foot buffer along the southern perimeter of the neighborhood that will be planted with a mix of evergreen trees and deciduous trees to create a natural vegetative buffer between the two neighborhoods. Within the open space, besides just the formal green area here, we have sidewalks along all our streets. We have another sidewalk area here with some benches and shade trees planted behind them, as well as some flowering trees as you come into the neighborhood that you would see. Our mail kiosk will be located in this area where we have 2 parallel parking spaces, and the mail kiosk will be located there, as well as sidewalks that wrap the entire internal green space and sidewalks on the northern green space. That it also includes some park benches. It will include some lighting to make sure that it's a secure area, and some flowering trees. The entire neighborhood will have street lights, which will be a benefit, as well as the open space and green space that we're providing. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Wakes and his Century team to talk about the architecture and the homes within the neighborhood.
All right, thank you, Jay. These are the homes that we've selected to build in this community. This is our lineup. You can see they're a combination of ranch. That balsam there in upper left is the ranch plan. The other ones are 2-story. You can see from these renderings, we intend to use a mix of stone, brick, and hardy board siding. We do not intend to use any vinyl, which is one of the things we saw was pretty prominent in the surrounding neighborhoods. So we feel like these homes are equal or better to what we're seeing in the surrounding neighborhoods. I've got my sales guy. I'd like for him to talk a few minutes, Adam Morris, about our sales plan and his background from a sales perspective on how we expect this neighborhood to perform for us. We're building in another neighborhood a mile and a half from here, Hamilton Church, that's been pretty successful for us. We feel like this could have the same success and improve the area and the neighborhood from a quality standpoint. So Adam, you want to jump in?
Billy, before Adam speaks, you want to touch on the balsam, the one elevation C that is at the top shows the stone and hardy board siding version of the house, but also on the bottom of the exhibit, we show the full brick version of the home that would have full brick on the front as well as the sides.
That's right. Thank you, Jay. That is a brick, the all brick home is going to be an option that we will sell there, and that those renderings at the bottom are front and both sides of what that all brick home would look like. So we have a design team, an architecture team that helps us put these plans and color schemes and everything together to help us blend here. We've got a lot of resources across the country that help us put those things together to ensure we've got a lot of data on which colors and schemes and things sell better than others. So that's what we're trying to show here is the quality type of quality house that we propose for this development.
Mr. Wait, let me ask for a clarification before you go to the next person. I
Okay.
believe when you were describing this, you said you did not intend to use vinyl. So my question is about intent, because we need to write, we don't do any more vinyl houses here.
Yeah, well, no, we're not going to use vinyl, and that's one of the conditions of the SP that we've already agreed to.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll take over from here. Yeah, my name's Adam Morris. Excuse me, I'm the director of sales with Century. And as Billy was saying, we do have a couple communities nearby. Cambridge Forest, which we are just getting started on the next phase, and Hamilton Church as well. This project in particular is pretty fun because we were able to start from scratch, pick out a completely new lineup of homes that fit into the surrounding community, and will also bring, we think, the values up. We will be in and out relatively quickly with 39 homes. And we're using high-end materials. We're trying to be a part of the community, and yeah, just bringing residents that will contribute and yeah, enjoy living in Antioch as we hope to. And then we also have Michael Hanna, who is a general real estate agent who's done a lot of work with Century that we wanted to bring in and let him speak on our behalf and just as an outside observer as well. Michael, if you could give some of your input on Century, our place in Antioch, and what were your thoughts on the community.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Adam, for the invite. Really appreciate it here. Well, as you said, thank you, for building in the Davidson County, Antioch area here, busy area in the past 4 or 5 years. As you said, I sold a lot of homes in that area, especially with Century community for the last 7, 8 years. I've sold quite a homes in the Cambridge Forest, and I'm looking forward for the Pinhook also subdivision here. I'm excited about the hardy board part because I've sold a lot in the Hamilton Church. I know Hamilton Church has the hardy board, not the vinyl. So I'm really excited about the hardy board it will sell a lot of my clients, and I've seen a lot of feedback having a hardy board on their home. It's quite, they like that, and we appreciate it here. I know the materials inside, the granite, everything you guys input in the house, there was a lot of 10 out of 10 feedback once we close and during the process. The one thing I would say about the Balsam Elevation C, and you can see that from the Cambridge Forest and the Hamilton Church, there will be not a lot of demand on the ranch homes. And I know you guys trying to be, having one floor comparing the 2 floors. But from what I have seen, feedback, a lot of the people likes the 2 levels homes.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. I'll address some of these questions here I'm seeing. The proposed price point, we are looking from the 3s, I would say, probably into the 4s at this point. We're keep in mind our ranch is a smaller floor plan, under 1,500 square feet. I also heard some concerns about the materials, saying brick would be bringing up the values rather than hardy board. We look at it from an aesthetic aspect as well. We think hardy board is coming from a more modern standpoint. Someone said 300 to 400. I would expect at some point we'll exceed 400,000 in there. It's hard to tell in this market. It's moving very rapidly. I would be surprised if we didn't get above 400,000 there, though. We are bringing up the aesthetic, I would say, in the area. The hardy board right now, from my experience building all around Nashville, the trends are going away from full brick, and they're getting in some more materials like the hardy and the stone. And from a cost standpoint, hardy is not significantly less than brick. So we are looking at it more holistically and trying to create the best looking product possible for everyone in the area and for the buyers. Let me see. Yeah, as far as price point, again, it's I would say it's anecdotal. I wouldn't say there's a study saying that people no longer want brick, but being in sales, it's kind of our job to keep on the pace with that, on the pulse with that, and that's what we're seeing more and more. And then I will throw it over to the HOA. Who is that on there?
So, yeah, Mary, I've asked Mary Herrick with Associa to join the call tonight, and they manage the Lakewood Village subdivision. That's the HOA for that subdivision is located just east of our property, and they're one of the largest HOA managers around, and they have a lot of knowledge and see a lot of things in other subdivisions that they manage too. So I felt like her opinion of this would be relevant. So, Mary. Mary, can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, we actually do manage the community directly to the east of it and an additional community to the northeast of it called Hamilton Chase. This project actually has quite a lot of features in it that I think will really attract for those home buyers to have elevated property values just based off of the amenities and the additional building standards that they're going to be putting in there. The benefits of having the HOA is this is fostering communities. The Lakewood subdivision next door, Lakewood Village, does several community events throughout the year, which just bolsters community and neighborhood feelings without having to bring the city involved with some of the just real maintenance as far as what the homeowners see on a very true daily basis with the HOA there to help them. And it's such an added benefit to them. They actually have somebody who they can pick up and talk to and have that secondary support. I think I saw a question pop up.
All right. Thank you, Mary. This is Jay. I can address the first two questions that have just popped up. One asking if we are on a planning commission agenda. We are not currently slated for a planning commission agenda yet. Following this meeting, we will be resubmitting to staff this packet incorporating any additional changes that may come out of this meeting, and then staff will re-review it and place us on an agenda. And as far as the corporate rentals excluded in the HOA, there is a rental clause written into the SP that is covering rentals within this SP.
That also covers Airbnbs, and it also covers a percentage of rentals by selling it to individuals and not to companies. So that won't be done. And then a percentage in the HOA document.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And Billy, is that everyone? Because I know that Mr. Dan Allen wants to wrap it up. If anyone else is going to speak from Century.
Yes. I've invited Debbie Ray to join us tonight. She lives right across the street from our entrance.
Okay.
And I've spoken to her and shown her the layout and the housing and stuff too. And I've asked her to join us to voice her opinion about the development too. So Debbie, are you on still?
I'm here.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea for our community. It's gonna make the property increase. I like the idea of an HOA. I don't like the idea of a lot of traffic, on the streets. But other than that, I think y'all gonna do an awesome job.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Hi, guys. This is Therese Brumfield. I'm somebody in the community, Therese Brumfield Gooch. And I live in the community. Just a couple of things that I haven't seen answered yet. So you are on the Metro Planning Committee agenda for 3/10/22, correct?
We have deferred fault from the agenda pending us resubmitting the revised packet to staff.
Okay, currently in development tracker, you're listed as having a date of 3/10, just FYI. What middle schools and elementary schools will be the feeder schools from this community?
Dan, do you have that information? I don't have it in front of me. I know.
Okay. No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
If I remember correctly, I believe it's Mountain View on the elementary side, as well as John F. Kennedy on the middle school side.
Okay, and do we know what the current capacity of those schools are and what your anticipated number of, I know you're only talking about what, 30, I'm sorry, you said 39 homes?
That's correct.
Do we know what the anticipated amount of children that will be impacting these schools?
That's correct, 39 homes.
Yeah, the number of children that will be going to these schools that are typically already overcrowded?
We were provided a number after discussion with the Metro Nashville staff, and it was based on that calculation and the formula that they use as part of their standard. It was showing a very minimal impact.
Yeah, and we know that number is typically woefully underestimated because it's based on live births, not people moving into the community. Can we get a more accurate estimation of the number of children that will be moving or potentially impact those schools? Again, those schools are already overcrowded. Can we get more information on that?
Adam over at Century, do you guys have any suggested demographics or anything like that that might influence that that question or information in terms of families or things like that we might be targeting as part of the sales approach?
I don't have specifics. You know, I'm fresh from selling, and fair housing laws have prohibited me from talking about familial status for the last decade. So I don't have data on that one. No, it is 39 homes. I don't expect it to add I mean, just by the numbers, it can't add a lot of children, but I don't have specifics or projections on that.
So who would have specifics or projections on that if you're not the one? And can we get the information?
I mean, it would all be speculation at this point. I'm not sure if there are formulas
at this time.
Go ahead, Jay.
All we really work off is what the city standards are, and we're following that, and staff has reviewed that and recommended approval, noting that we're in compliance with what the city's calculations are. So that's what we're going to do with.
Thank you. So Antoinette, you know that's problematic for us because those numbers are wrong. You know, we just confirmed just more recently that they based it on live births. And we know based on census numbers, based on the fact that we're getting a whole new district in this area, that is more about people moving into the area with children that would be going to our overcrowded, underperforming schools. And we're talking about price points that are what are currently in the community. So I guess I'm just a little hesitant on wanting to talk about supporting a development that doesn't have all the information on the school system, doesn't have a good projection on how they'll impact the schools. And I'm not really seeing the increase or how they're bringing up the community around them when it looks pretty standard. And the homes don't even have decks. So I think we just need some more conversation and some more information.
Okay, thank you. And we never have just one meeting. And I do understand about the numbers, and I had that conversation with them too, how the numbers somehow are estimated, and that even if in that whole thing, if there are only 2 children in it, if schools are already overcrowded, then that's only going to add to that. So yes, I do understand what you're saying.
Thank you. And any idea on any proposed upgrades to traffic calming or anything of that nature?
Well, do you want to go over that again and share with her how you were talking about the traffic calming in there? Because they did go over that earlier,
Yes,
please?
Go ahead, Dan. Oh,
sure.
no,
Hey, this is Dan Allen, representing Century Communities. Just want to kind of chime in on the backside and kind of wrap. We kind of had some conversations, went back and forth a little bit. We'll kind of bring the presentation to a close, and then we can get maybe a little into a little more Q&A. The one thing that we still haven't talked about yet, like it's been mentioned, we've had several conversations with Councilperson Lee. We've talked with some of the community groups and been listening and been hearing, and we keep getting the question in various forms of, hey, what's the public benefit of this project? We see, you want to develop this property, you want to put 39 homes in there. What is the overall public benefit? So I want to kind of go back through and just summarize that and talk about that just for a second. One of the big things that I think is really important about this proposal is that the folks that are in front of you tonight talking about this, we didn't create the situation that's existing out there. I think there's a lot of concern that it's potentially an attractive nuisance. It doesn't look very good. Clearly somebody started something and then they just, for whatever reasons, they weren't able to follow through on it. Century Communities is committed to coming in, cleaning that up and taking, an eyesore and really improving it to the benefit of not just the immediate neighboring folks, but really the district as a whole. The other part of that is, when you really look at this concept, they really are trying to create a very nice little pocket neighborhood that has a great experience. We have amenities, we have this nice open space area, we have sidewalks, we have a dog parks. So we have multiple opportunities for these 39 families and friends and new neighbors that could potentially move in here. They have the opportunity to, have health and wellness taken care of. They can exercise. They can be a great part of this, and they're going to be safe. We're proposing crosswalks. We're going to have street lighting throughout the neighborhood. We're having appropriate buffers, and we're designing everything in compliance with what the city's regulations are to really help make this a good place to live. And then lastly, the one thing I really wanted to touch on is we've had a lot of these conversations about, okay, we hear what you're saying. That's great for the 39 families that are going to live in this neighborhood. What about the rest of the district? What can be done to benefit all of us? And we really feel like the best thing that could be done is to make a voluntary contribution, basically to a park, recreation center, or community center within the district of $50,000. We're open to hearing how that could be allocated or how you want to do it, but we want to put that on the table and say that that's something that Century is committed to not just benefit the people that will live in this neighborhood, but also benefit everybody in the district by offering up a voluntary contribution that can be used to really improve something that everybody in the district can benefit from and continue to have enhanced opportunities for health, wellness, and recreation. So wanted to pull all that out there and explain it. And we can pop back in here in the chat here for a second. And I think we've got a couple questions that have popped up. This is the dog park public or private? As it's shown right now, it's intended to have a gate around it and basically be privately managed and maintained by the HOA for the neighborhood. So it would be primarily neighborhood benefit.
Thank you.
I see the comment, I believe from Melissa, 50. Well, I was just going to offer up, I believe that we can, work amongst our team as well as other parties, Councilmember Lee, to dial that in on the SP process so that it's not something that can just be grabbed and taken someplace else. I believe we have the ability to,
sorry,
restrict that so it is contributed something in District 33.
So how is that even
Go ahead, I'm done.
possible? And I mean, 50K, we know it's not, it's a dime. The stoplight is gonna be $1 million. So if we want any infrastructure, we need a lot more from the developers. And us, the taxpayers, are paying too. So I don't know how Ms. Lee could put that on the NASB, that the money that you are putting in is only going to District 33. Is that possible, Ms. Lee?
We could do it if we are talking about a specific thing that the money is going to. For instance, it could go to the Mill Ridge Park, which is in our area. But if we wanted to look at something specific, we would have to say it's going to this specific project. And I think that's something legal could help us put together.
So the 50,000 going to an existing park?
I said that was an example of one way that it could go. It could stay in the district. If we wanted to put it to something else, then we would have to be specific about what we want to give it to, or what we're looking at, or where they want to donate it. And I could work with legal to see how that would be done.
How much is a park?
I'm
It's not
sorry,
50.
what?
How much is a park? Not 50,000, right?
No, I'm talking about the one that's the big park that we have that's already.
No, I understand what I'm
Okay, so I don't
saying.
know how much it is to do one park.
Probably millions.
Saying probably so, but I think that would help
Yeah.
some instead of none. So
Right, but to see,
It was just
my
an example.
comment to Mr. Allen is, see, now it's creating a monster. It's like, okay, so this is going towards a park, 50,000, and the other 1.5 million comes from our pockets, from taxpayers. So see, it doesn't equate to what we're wanting to do and what we need in the area, and that's my comment. That's all.
okay.
Well, and
Therese had
I
a-
hear you. I appreciate the comments. Let me
And I think she was taking what I was saying by the park in the
Let me
wrong
offer up
way.
that there's only. Okay, sorry. I'll be quiet. Thank you.
No, I think we understand. Hi, this is Therese Brumfield Gooch again. I think we understand. So if, just to clarify that, and then I'll move into my question. Councilmember Lee, if we wanted, for example, to go to one of the schools, is it possible if they wanted to make a contribution that we can say, well, it will go to the school for some type of improvement? Is that also legal?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I guess, again, we are beating a dead horse, and I guess for, Mr. Allen and your team, and thank you so much for spending this time with us this evening. It just continues to be this perpetual challenge to us. We hear what you're saying, we understand what you're saying, but I mean, we're talking about a bruised or broken reed here. We are in a situation where we are overcrowded. Our schools are overcrowded and underfunded and underperforming. And while no, you didn't create the problem, it doesn't help the situation. And so it's not necessarily a negative towards you or your plans or your thoughts or any of that. But what we're saying is that we have enough in this community and we can't do any more until we get some needed infrastructure. And while we appreciate $50,000, I'm sure you can understand what we're saying when it costs $1 million just to get a traffic light up at one of the busiest, most dangerous intersections in the city, in the top 5, I do believe, according to 2020 and 2021 data. It's just very difficult. So it really, again, takes the conversation much farther than just a conversation about a community with a developer and a community with what the entire Metro Nashville plan is for this area and how we want to live. So it really, for us, is about a quality of living. It's not necessarily a negative towards you. I understand you're impacted. So please understand that that's where some of our comments are concerning. My biggest concern is traffic. My biggest concern is infrastructure from the standpoint of schools. And so those things are not helped by the situation at all. And so that's the challenge that I think you're hearing. So I'm done talking about that.
Thank you. Do we have some comments or some questions? Will you all finish presenting? Are you ready for the questions
If
now,
you
or
don't
do I
mind,
finish?
Councilmember Lee.
Sure.
I'd like to flip it over to the division president of Century Communities. to wrap up the presentation. And I think he has a few things he'd like to say. And then and if you're okay with it, I think we can go on into Q&A. Zach, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You gotta mute yourself.
Jack, do you have your microphone and your telephone on?
Still on. You gotta turn off your volume.
Yeah,
Sorry
turn
about
off
that.
your
I'm actually in
phone.
the room with Billy. You gotta turn off the volume on your computer. Just turn off the volume on your computer. Hey, I'm so. Is that better?
It is. Thank you.
Yes, it's better.
You guys hear me now? Sorry about that.
Yes.
All right. Sorry. Technical difficulties. But no, hey, I want to introduce myself first and foremost. My name is Zach Adler. I am the division president here for Century Communities. I want to thank Councilmember Lee and the members of the community for being on here today. To address some of the questions that have been on here, and forgive me if there are some that I don't. This is going to be a great community here in Antioch, one that we're proud of. We are in the community down the street of Hamilton Church and Cambridge Forest. We feel like this is going to build on that as we talk about the hardy and the brick and stone veneers that we're going to be bringing in. As far as a price point, we will start in the 3s with the ranch plan, but most of our price points are going to be north of that 4 mark. And so we are going to be elevating in this community. As far as the contribution, absolutely. I look forward to working with Councilmember Lee and her team as well as legal to make sure that that money, because we want it to be a part of the community as we are. And so we're going to make sure that that money stays here in the district and make sure that that money goes to projects that are going to support and be dedicated to the community, which we want to be a part of. As far as the exteriors, I know there was a question about a deck. These homes are currently, as they're slated to be, slabs. And so there's certainly an opportunity for patios off the back, concrete patios that would allow for people to do grilling and be a part of the community. And that's the pride that we take in being here. We're a part of the community down the street, and we look forward to being a part of it here. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for your questions. We're here to absolutely make sure that we get those answered and that we are doing this in the right sense so that it brings added value to both you and the community as a whole. And with that, we can turn it over if there's any questions.
Yes, I have a question. You guys hear me okay?
We can.
Okay. So I just have a question about price point. And so I've heard kind of the starting mark for the 300,000 up to 400,000. So what I did was I went online and I just kind of did an analysis of the overall surrounding homes where you guys are proposing to build. Have you guys kind of looked at just what the overall values are right now?
Yeah, I would say we're early on in the phase as far as setting the exact price point. When we do pro formas and decide if this is something that makes sense for the area, we look at the overall pricing and things like that. Realistically, we get to the actual pricing of a community, weeks before we open it, based on, what is around there, what are current home values at, what are our competitors doing and things like that. So we will be, it's hard to say exactly today what our pricing will be when we're talking about, potentially having closings over a year from now. That being said, the product lineup and what we've seen in past communities, I think I'm confident we will be adding value to the area.
Yeah, and I agree with that. So if we are taking this price points based off the estimated amount that you guys provided, it's not representing what's currently around the area you guys are proposing to build these homes. As I look at this here, I see 1 or 2 houses that are at $395. And so again, if we're talking about improving the overall quality and improving the area, renting a home that is $300-some thousand, and again, I know you have to look at square footage, so I'm taking that into account. But if we look at just the overall pricing, it doesn't seem like it's going to truly match. I know you guys stated closer to the time when you do your development. But I'm just looking at if you're proposing something right now and what's currently in the area, the price point doesn't match, right? And again, we keep talking about improving Antioch and making Antioch a better place to live. And one of the biggest concerns, not just from people on this call, but from other community beacons, is the overall price point that developers continue to try to bring into the area. And so if you guys could help me to understand again, where was the estimated $300,000 amount pulled from, or what came to that conclusion?
Yeah, Adam, if you don't mind, I'll start that one.
Yeah.
And again, just so we're clear, that estimate is as we sit today. It's amazing what's happened in the market. I mean, if you look several months ago, I mean, the average price has gone up over 20%. And so I'm absolutely with you. I can tell you that what we're going to bring from a quality of the home, both the construction, the exterior cladding that we're going to use, the quality of the community, as well as the area for kids to play, as well as the dog park and things like that. We're absolutely going to make sure that we're adding value to it. We wanted to make sure we answered the question today in terms of pricing, but as Adam stated, and he's 100% accurate, that pricing is going to change as we move through this process and then develop the community. That absolutely is going to go up. But what I can assure you is we're going to make sure that it is the ultimate sales price that we come to market with is going to add value, not only to you, the surrounding community, but to the homeowners of these 39 homes as well.
So I have one more question, and I'll be back, because I know there's a few questions in the chat. And this is not a facetious question, but do any of you guys live here in this area or close by this development?
I live in East Nashville. I don't live in Antioch.
Okay. So one thing that, again, just take it from individuals who live in the community. If you went out somewhere and someone said, hey, I'll do this for you, but I need to go ahead and pass this bill right now. But I can assure you that once we get to that piece, it's going to be done. That's not how you get buy-in from people and constituents in the community. And so I understand that you don't know the full price, but what we have seen developers, especially in the Cane Ridge area, where they come at a 400 price point, right? Even though they know that the cost of bills and things are going to increase over time, they don't start at a low number, because if you're trying to get buy-in from those in the community, you're not going to get it, even though it's not an accurate number. If you come to me saying $300,000, I have no way of assuring that it's going to be more or less based off of, again, once you pass through council and go through zoning, it's basically all up to the developer and the builder on what they set the price at. So I just think that we can just take that into consideration as we look at trying to get support from the community. If we throw out price points, that can sometimes provide a negative opinion from feedback standpoint.
I appreciate that feedback. Thank you so much for your comments.
Okay, we have a little under 10 minutes left. I know you changed this plan after some of the conversations you have had dealing with the buffers, dealing with the dog park, dealing with the traffic calming, dealing with things that you can put in, dealing with the type of house, the material of the house, all those type of things. But what I would like to ask somebody who has not already asked a question, if you have a question or a comment about something that's not in there that they want to add, not actually advocating for something, but giving them something if they had to change something. For instance, the question was brought up about the decks, and you said because it was on a slab that patios may be something that you could do. So that may be something that you may want to look at, because everybody loves the outdoor type living now. So
yeah.
If there's somebody else that has some input that they want to do, or a question that you wanted to ask that you didn't have a chance to ask because of other people, can we hear from you now, please?
I see one question about the slab versus patio, if I can address that. Or the deck versus patio. With the crawl foundation, we have to raise it up above the grade of the home, which the home being raised up, it naturally lends itself to create a deck off the back patio. We're building on a monolithic slab, so it's closer to the ground. So that back patio will be pretty flush with the ground in the back, so there's no reason to have it raised up for a deck. So same square footage, same option to cover it, just a different method of construction.
This is Billy Citizen. Anita, I'd ask you a question about cost. I'm trying to understand how these developments run. Just looking at the 10.91 acres and starting from now and getting to when you have the 39 homes completed and ready to sell, will Metro tax dollars be any part of the cost of that development? I'm talking about electrical, water, utilities, roads, or does the developer incur all of that cost?
Yeah, I can address that. So we at Century Communities incur that cost. We're certainly paying for those roads. We're paying for that infrastructure to go in. That's then tied into, of course, the home price as we come to market. But that's not something that impacts the community in any way, shape, or form as we're moving through that process.
Thank you. That answered that question. I got one more comment. We got time. This is on the school thing. This has been going on for years, and it's a valid point. But we always concentrate on the additions to the schools that are going to be added by these developments. And to me, to get a valid study, you also should consider the people who are going to be graduating and leaving the schools. And I don't remember that ever being mentioned in any of the analysis of school capacity or anything like that. And that just popped in my head, so I figured I'd throw it out there. But that's all I got.
I see a hand up by Mason.
Yes, thank you, Councilman Lee. Hi, I'm from the Lakeside Code subdivision here. My question that I have is, my husband is, what source of energy will be used? Will y'all be using electric, or would it be using gas?
Billy, do we have gas running to the neighborhood?
So we're early on in that process. Certainly electric would be in there. Once we work, a lot of the conversations with a gas company are affected by some of the conversations we're having right now, certainly the size of the community and things like that. But as we speak right now, that's still in the works and something I don't want to give you an answer unless we have a definitive, which unfortunately we don't.
Okay.
That may be something that you'll have an answer for next time you come and present any of the changes or talk about any of the other pieces that you weren't able to talk about today. And I think one of those might be looking at putting patios out for the outdoor living type thing.
So I can address that one right now, just to put that one at ease by all means. Part of the conversation, again, we're bringing in the higher quality products, hardy stone brick on the exterior of them. We'll absolutely have those patios on the back of the home and then allow the customer the option, provided it fits within the lot dimensions and things like that, to cover that patio area as well. So we're absolutely on board for that. I think it's something we've found in our other communities that allows for people to have that grill area on the back, the table, the kids playing in the backyard. It also brings a better sense of community, we found. So we're absolutely on board for that and are excited about that opportunity.
Okay, we have about 2 more minutes. Do I have a question from anybody that hadn't asked one before? I want to put something out there really quickly.
Councilman Lee, I have another question.
Yes.
Yes, will any of these elevations right here allow for front porch design?
There you
go. Billy, do we have all of the renderings done yet? I know we're relatively early on the design of these floor plans. As I said, this is a new product lineup. With the 30-foot product, there will be patios there, as you can see in many of them uncovered areas, but realistically with the 30-foot product, it won't be a full front covered porch. It'll be a maximum about 10 feet wide. And it will be covered, but not further than the depth of the front of the garage.
There is a requirement.
Not even wide enough to put chairs or anything to sit on.
There is a requirement that
porch.
we've agreed to from the planning staff that they have to be six feet deep, I think is the requirement. And you know, we may have to tweak some of this architecture to meet all those conditions. So these houses are very close to what we're going to build. We just have to have a few tweaks to them that meet all the regulations.
So would that mean? There will
Yeah,
be
and to that point, prior to building anything, we certainly would have those those renderings completed, approved through the municipality to make sure that everything is meeting the standards that we've agreed to and that we're excited to bring to the community for sure.
So I don't want to put words in the mouth of the person that asked the question, but what I was thinking was, when I think of a front porch, I don't necessarily think of sitting back, going in. I think of a little wide, so I can put 2 chairs and sit on the front porch to wave and speak to people as they go by in my neighborhood. So maybe that, because I see level C, it's hard to tell from your pictures, but perhaps there could be a small porch there that goes like under where that window is that would get a chair. Some of the other ones don't look like they're, and I don't know if I'm saying wide enough or whatever, this way to have a type of front porch. So I think answer that way when we're talking about a front porch, not the deepness of it, but the wideness, I guess, where like a rocking chair or 2 rocking chairs could be sitting out there on the front.
Yeah, I can speak to that. I've sold many years, and I sold in a community before with a product of the same width, the Del Webb community, the 55 and up community in Spring Hill. Those residents love sitting on the front porch. And with the same width of foam, with the same width of front area, it was definitely possible to fit a couple rocking chairs up there. So depending on the elevation, there'll be more and less opportunity for that, elevation being the exterior design, but I think that's absolutely reasonable to expect a couple rocking chairs to fit up there.
Okay, well, it is now 2 minutes after 7. I guess you can kind of figure that we're going to end up asking you to come back again to talk about some of the things that have been talked about today. And to see what things have been moved around, put in place, or anything else that may be presented that was asked today. And you would just set up like you did with this one so that we can see when we can have you back and do that. And I guess I just want to say thank you, everybody, for everyone who was on here. I posted on my Facebook page again. We've got a couple of dates when we have some more community meetings that will be coming up. I just want everybody to make sure that they're careful and safe. Today was a beautiful day, but you know how it is here. I don't think we're out of the winter yet. So keep yourself safe. Don't catch a cold or pneumonia with all this other stuff going out there. And I really do appreciate you being on this and giving us your input. And I want to thank everybody and wish them all a good night. And I'm going to say, is there anything else that you all have to say that is really pressing? Okay, I'm going to take the silence as a no.
Thank you so much.
I say we'll see you at the next meeting. Thank you, everybody, so much. Thank all of you, everyone, so much, and be safe.
Thank you.
Good night. And